Everyone believed Stanford built a revolutionary electric car. They were completely duped. It was 1970, and the world was gripped by an energy crisis. Gasoline queues stretched for miles, and the air hung thick with smog. In this charged atmosphere, the idea of a clean, efficient electric vehicle wasn't just appealing, it felt like a desperate necessity. And then, from the hallowed halls of Stanford University, emerged a glimmer of hope, a student-built electric car capable of incredible feats. News channels, magazines, and even the New York Times clamored to cover this groundbreaking invention. They hailed the students as pioneers, visionaries, on the cusp of solving one of humanity's most pressing problems. The media painted a picture of youthful ingenuity triumphing over corporate inertia, a David and Goliath story playing out in Silicon Valley. But beneath the gleaming chrome and the enthusiastic headlines, something far more cynical was at play. This wasn't a tale of innovation, it was a carefully orchestrated deception, a student prank that spiraled wildly out of control, exposing the gaping vulnerabilities of an eager, unquestioning press. The Stanford electric car was, in essence, a lie. The story begins with a group of Stanford engineering students, keen to participate in the first-ever coast-to-coast clean air car race in the summer of 1970. Their initial idea was noble: convert a Ford Pinto into an electric vehicle. A noble, but ultimately incredibly challenging undertaking. The competition, sponsored by MIT and Caltech, aimed to showcase alternative fuel vehicles. It was a race for bragging rights, but also a serious attempt to push the boundaries of automotive technology. The Stanford team, however, quickly ran into significant technical hurdles. Their converted Pinto, dubbed the Electrica, was painfully slow, had a pitiful range, and required frequent, lengthy battery changes. It was clear it wouldn't stand a chance in the race. The dream of electric superiority was fading fast, replaced by the grim reality of engineering limitations. Enter the pranksters, a subset of the student team, led by a charismatic figure named Wally Rappel, decided to take a different approach. If they couldn't win legitimately, they'd win through deception. They would create the illusion of a successful electric car, specifically for the benefit of the media. Their target wasn't the race officials, it was the journalists. They understood the media's hunger for a good story, especially one about young heroes solving a crisis. This was the perfect storm for a hoax, a compelling narrative, an urgent societal need, and a press eager to believe. The first step was to ditch the pitiful Electrica. Instead, they modified a conventional gasoline-powered Ford Mustang. This car, unlike their electric attempt, could actually drive. But how to make it appear electric? The ingenious, if utterly dishonest, solution was to install a hidden gasoline engine in the trunk. This hybrid setup allowed them to drive the car normally, but critically, they could pretend it was running on electric power when journalists were around. They fitted large, impressive-looking battery boxes in the rear, strategically placed to be visible to cameras. These boxes were mostly empty or filled with sand for weight, but they looked the part. The illusion was taking shape. For specific demonstrations, they'd install a small electric motor to power just the front wheels, allowing the car to move silently for short distances. This was purely for show, a theatrical flourish to convince skeptical reporters. The real power, of course, came from the hidden petrol engine. The team meticulously planned their media interactions. They'd invite reporters for carefully controlled test drives, always in areas where they could easily switch between electric showmanship and gasoline reality. The journalists, often lacking technical expertise, bought it hook, line, and sinker. One particularly audacious stunt involved a staged breakdown. When a reporter was present, they'd dramatically run out of charge, then swiftly replace the visible, fake battery packs, creating the impression of a quick, efficient battery swap. The hidden engine, meanwhile, kept the car ready for the next segment. The media's embrace was overwhelming. Articles lauded the Stanford students, praising their innovation and dedication. The Electrica was presented as a viable solution to the energy crisis, a beacon of hope from the West Coast. The pinnacle of their deception came with the actual clean air car race. While their truly electric car failed miserably, the modified Mustang, pretending to be electric, became a media darling. The students were interviewed extensively, their fabricated success broadcast nationwide. Wally Rappel, the mastermind, even wrote an article for Popular Science, confidently detailing the design of their electric car, further cementing the hoax in the public consciousness. The article, filled with technical jargon and impressive-sounding specifications, was a masterclass in misdirection. The entire affair highlights a critical flaw in media reporting: the tendency to prioritize a compelling narrative over rigorous fact-checking, especially when the story aligns with public desires or anxieties. The energy crisis made people want to believe in a quick fix, and the media was happy to provide it. It wasn't until years later, in the mid-1970s, that the full extent of the deception began to unravel. Rappel himself, perhaps burdened by the secret, eventually confessed to the elaborate hoax. His admissions sent shockwaves through the engineering and journalistic communities. The revelation was a stark reminder that even institutions of higher learning and reputable news outlets can be fooled. The Stanford electric car became a cautionary tale, a lesson in media literacy and the dangers of unchecked enthusiasm. In retrospect, the hoax wasn't just a prank, it was a bizarre social experiment. It demonstrated how easily a compelling, yet false, narrative can take root and flourish, particularly when it taps into societal hopes and fears. It was the ultimate fake-it-till-you-make-it scenario, taken to a dishonest extreme. While the immediate impact was a bruised ego for the media, the long-term lesson was invaluable. It underscored the importance of skepticism, independent verification, and the understanding that sometimes the most exciting stories are too good to be true. The Stanford electric car hoax remains a fascinating footnote in the history of both automotive innovation and media ethics. It's a reminder that even the brightest minds and the most trusted institutions can be led astray by a clever deception, and that hype, left unchecked, can drive right off a cliff. Next, we unravel the billion-dollar failure that promised to revolutionize online grocery, but delivered only empty baskets.